and welcome to Flappity Flap Podcast with your hosts, Brandon and Sarah.
Hello and welcome to Flappity Flap Podcast with your hosts, Brandon and Sarah.
Are we playing the Copy Me game? What is it called?
Is that the name?
What is it called?
I don't know. Stop copying me. That's all I remember.
Way more clever than what I had.
The Mimic game. I don't know. Look it up.
You look it up. Anyway, what are we talking about? What are we talking about? I'm in a sing-songy mood.
We're talking about what is in the title, which is...
Totally?
Which
title I haven't come up with yet.
Yeah, but I assume you'll put it in the title.
You assume correctly.
You twirled your hand as though you expected me to continue talking, but you were going to sneeze.
I know.
Her head was tilted back in like this cringe face, and she just friggin' is rotating her hand on her wrist like it's...
Fill the dead air.
Come on, keep talking. Like,
I know.
I'm going to be interrupted by a sneeze.
I knew. It was just me being
a punk
hilarious.
ass? Okay, yeah. Okay.
Interesting. So, why did we decide to watch that movie?
You decided to watch it.
But why? Do you remember how? I'm trying to think. So...
Don't try too hard. Don't hurt yourself, I mean, is what I meant to say.
You're in a mood tonight. Oh, my friend. You're in a mood. Nobody would trade with him in Diablo.
Don't be.
He's a bit sour.
Oh my God.
Nobody wanted to be friends with him. Nobody wanted to trade.
I have no friends in real life, and I have no friends in video game worlds.
What about me and Charlie? We're your friends. We kind of have to be. I mean, we live together. But we're the best kind of friends there are. The forced kind.
You and Charlie?
Yeah.
Moving on. What are we talking about today?
So we watched A Fish Called Wanda, which is from 1980
Which is crazy to think about.
It is. How old were you? Were you alive? You were 2.
I was 1. I was a 1-year-old little baby.
Little baby. I was older than that. We'll just leave it at that. So... Okay. Why? I can't remember why I wanted to watch that movie. I must have seen it pop up somewhere.
It's fine. You know, you probably saw like John Cleese or somebody. Maybe you saw like Kevin Kline. Is that his name?
Yeah.
Maybe you saw Kevin Kline or something. That's
I don't know. I think it kind of
happened.
popped up, and then I was like, oh, I don't think Brandon's ever seen it. And
gosh, what is her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Yeah, she was on an episode of Game Grumps.
Oh yeah, is it because her kid's a fan?
Yeah, she was on a guest Grumps.
She was pretty funny. Were they playing Mario Kart?
Giving Aaron shit about his gross feet or something.
Was she?
Yeah.
I don't remember that.
She was like, "You're a very wonderful man, aside from your feet."
Oh man, he's kind of an animal, and that's coming from me.
Whoa, yeah.
Well, he's constantly farting in the room with Dan,
That's
who's
true.
a captive audience.
I feel bad for Dan.
I feel bad for Dan. Dan sounds like a really nice guy, and I mean, he must only be there still for the money, not for Aaron's winsome personality. Any hooser, getting a little off topic. So Fish Called Wanda is like a heist. It starts out as like a heist, and Jamie Lee Curtis is an American, and Kevin Kline's an American, as they are. And they're in London, and they've planned this bank heist with, would you call it a heist? I don't know what classifies a heist exactly.
Bank robbery?
A robbery. With a
Isn't a heist a little more involved? I mean, they just kind of stormed in with masks on, brandishing weapons.
They did have like a getaway plan, though.
That was a robbery. Yeah, that's true. But I feel like a heist usually means, it's usually more involved. It's not just like a brutal armed robbery.
Maybe Ocean's 11 has ruined regular heists for everybody, So yeah, they have let's see, the ringleader is like George. I've never seen him in anything before, and then you have his kind of sidekick buddy Ken, who's played by Michael Palin, who has a stutter, which is adorable.
Son in the movie.
No,
pretty sure.
He says my son, which is like it's kind of like saying governor, like, but the opposite.
Ugh,
it's a patron.
Okay.
Yeah, I think they're just friends, and it's a very Cockney, I think, way of speaking, like, my son. Yeah. Anyway.
Well, yeah, okay, so I thought the whole time
that's a funny kind of misunderstanding. That's funny. I mean,
is it? I mean, he said my son, like, it didn't feel slangy.
It's just funny to think
also,
of
he didn't seem like the slangy type.
Yeah, but he's like,
Is he even Cockney?
Yeah, he's like one of those Cockney or East End who like is trying to kind of dress above, like kind of dress up and trying to be like spiffy and fancy, but I'm
not familiar enough.
It's just a funny idea that you watched that whole movie thinking he was his son, and I had no idea. And that would kind of put a weird perspective on everything. I don't know. Anyway, so Jamie Lee Curtis is posing, her and Kevin Kline are posing as brother and sister, which is just funny. So funny because they're like lovers, but anyway, so
well, it's to fool George. So
yeah, it's very involved.
We're not going to do a recap of the whole movie.
Just a very mini one.
So yeah, where were you going with that?
I don't know. You broke my steam. You broke my steam, damn it.
That's not an expression. You fucking broke my steam.
Now you're gonna have to buy me a new one.
It's like, what is that other one? Something my steez. You're
what?
Stepping on my steez. I don't know.
Never heard that. Anyway, yeah. So all you see at the beginning is that there's this like bank robbery, not a heist. And then as the movie progresses, you see that basically Jamie Lee Curtis is like out to double cross everyone.
Yeah.
And at first she just kind of looks like the eye candy, and I think she's like the getaway driver. But
then like the more you get to know
Kevin Kline?
Yeah, Kevin Kline. The more you get to know him, the more you sympathize with. Oh my gosh, what is wrong with my brain?
Jamie Lee Curtis?
These names. Jamie
Should we
Lee
say everyone's
Curtis.
character name? So Jamie Lee Curtis, her name is Wanda in the film, but also
Why do you have to say her whole name? Why does everyone have to say her whole name? Why can't we just call her Jamie?
For most people, she's a household name, so it just like rolls off the tongue.
I know, but I just can't.
Who struggle a little more.
Shut up.
So also Ken, the stuttering guy, played by Michael Palin. So of course Michael Palin and John Cleese were in, almost said the full Monty Python. Mm-hmm. And I think Michael Palin is quite, well, I think he has kind of a posh accent, but he's like a bit not Cockney, but he's got this horrible fake stutter.
Yeah.
But so John Cleese wrote it, which is pretty cool.
He loves animals.
And the
fish named Wanda is his fish.
Yeah, but also Jamie Lee Curtis is named Wanda. So, but I think
he name the fish after Wanda?
They don't really explain that, but I kind of think maybe because everyone seems to have a little bit of a thing for her.
But they don't go into that backstory with the movie.
They don't go into the fish's backstory, which is weird.
Oh my goodness. The backstory between Wanda, the human, and Michael Palin, who I can't remember his character's name. Ken.
You just have to remember he's coming to kill me, Ken.
Yeah.
Something. I don't know if I got the line right.
That's at the end when, if you haven't seen the movie.
Yeah.
Bloody hell, when Kevin Kline is stuck in the cement and Michael Palin's on a steamroller.
Yeah.
And he's coming after him very slowly. Sort of like how they ripped that off in Austin Powers.
Yeah, it's probably exactly.
He's coming to kill me, Ken.
Yeah, he's just. So Kevin Kline, I think, steals the show. Wouldn't you agree?
He's such a bastard.
I don't know
movie.
what even he was in before that, but I think for sure that put him on the map. And I remember watching that movie when I was a kid, and I think for 1988 they use a lot of swears and kind of edgy swears for like I think the time.
I think that was the time of edge though.
Really?
Wasn't that like when Howard Stern was kind of showing up, and I think comics and stuff were getting edgy at that time.
Yeah, but I think it was still if you hadn't been introduced to it.
But I wasn't. I was only one.
I don't think
so.
You were not conscious. I think, not like, you know what I mean, though. You were not aware of, like, the film scene and the comedy scene, right?
Not fully.
It's just like a year or so before you exploded onto the scene yourself. But, I don't know. I just remember, and my parents, like, weren't super, like, watching a lot of movies and stuff, but, like, I'm sure they probably, rented a VCR. Maybe we had our own VCR. And they watched this movie, and I think I was in the room with them.
Rented a VCR. Now that is...
Shut up. So
they probably had their own VCR. I think by by 88 everyone owned their own VCR.
So?
I think so.
I don't know. It's all running together. I can't remember. I remember I can remember renting a VCR and begging my parents to rent like The Last Unicorn or Five Will Goes West, not Five Will Goes West. American Tail. That's the first Five Will movie. And like, but yeah, you're probably right. I'm sure we had a VCR by 88. Mm-hmm. So I remember them watching that movie, and it was like, I think the swears were edgy, And I think the sex scene, the quote unquote sex scene that is just so outlandish and like not convincing as a sex scene.
When the blanket is on Kevin Kline and he's just like doing this very high, like
his ass is like 10 feet in the air.
Like basically,
if you've ever had sex, you can't.
Basically like bucking.
Yeah. You can't have penetration unless you have a 10-foot dong.
Or unless you just want to bend it.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. So, but like, poor Brandon. So he's like, anyway, so they're posing as brother and sister, but then like behind.
Why poor me?
No,
what happened?
Just let me finish.
Oh.
But like when people's glances, when people are glancing away, like he's grabbing Jamie Lee Curtis's boob, and you're just like, what the fuck is going on here?
Yeah.
And I just remember as a kid, I think my parents were like, okay, maybe we shouldn't be watching this with our children.
Yeah.
I don't even know if Katie was born yet.
Was it the first time you guys had watched it together?
Oh, yeah, for sure.
And then when
sex scenes are so.
When Kevin Kline is cursing, what is his character's name?
Oh, Otto.
When Otto is cursing out,
oh,
fuck, he's cursing out
Cleese.
John Cleese's character,
whose name is Archie.
Archie.
Yeah.
There's just too many names. Just
that
movie
need to have
was like fewer names.
Playing on a loop. I think my freshman year in college, I think we had like a TV in the lounge. And
well, backing up real quick.
I'm just saying that's why I know all the names like really well.
I know John Cleese, but I just haven't.
No, I know the character names.
Oh, okay.
Because like it at any point in my freshman year, I felt like that movie was at some point in the middle of playing in our little lounge or whatever. So I got to know it pretty well.
Okay. Well, he curses out John Cleese's character at the end, and it's like, you fucking dickhead, fuck, jag off. He's just saying...
Dickhead, fuckface, asshole.
Yeah, he's just saying this, like, laundry list of insults that are just not for kids.
Yeah.
So,
but I think the more uncomfortable and the thing that I remember is the sex scene, because...
If you can even call it that.
But, like, because it was, like, supposed to be a comedy, and I don't think my parents expected that, and they were just, like, laughing but shocked. Like, for that time, I think it was shocking for them. Even though, like, by today's standards, oh, my God, you practically have people having sex, because of the graphic nature and how they show, and, contortions and penetration simulation.
I don't think they showed penetration.
I'm saying today.
Oh.
Like, they make you really... like, oh, I see the point where he entered her, that kind of, they just like simulate it very well. Oh my gosh.
Okay.
They just simulate it very well. But by those in that time, I don't think you had a lot of that. And it was
also, it was a comedy movie.
Yeah.
So, and his character was just over the top all the time.
Yeah. And I think they were probably like covering my eyes. It's just funny to think back on it and not necessarily be just laughing at the sex scene itself, which is what we were doing last night.
Because you would break your wiener doing that.
You would. And then what I was going to say about poor you is that he's like, so he thinks he's like this tantric practicing Buddhist guy who's like very in touch with his physicality, and he's like doing some kind of martial arts when she comes in the room at one point.
And his suspenders have what looks like Chinese written on them.
Yeah. But when they're like about to do stuff, like during their foreplay or whatever, he like takes her boot off and then he sticks his face in it and does this big inhale and exhale.
That part fucking disturbed me.
Yeah. And then, and he keeps smelling his own armpits to like center himself. Like he'll take this big breath.
I forgot about those bits.
I'm surprised because that's really something that gets to you.
It's funny though. There's a lot of like, I don't know. Maybe the armpit sniffing, did that come from that? Or was that like a thing from before? Or
what? What are you talking about?
The armpit sniffing, like just that being a thing at all.
Yeah, maybe that was another like SNL type or comedy type.
Because there is a show called The Grim Adventures of Billy and Mandy, and there's a character called Hoss Delgado, and he's basically like a vampire hunter type guy, kind of like what's his name from the not The Walking Dead, Army of Darkness, the guy with the chainsaw hand. This is my boomstick. Anyway.
Yeah. Okay.
He's basically like that, like a monster hunter.
Ash.
And he's
okay.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Ash. And he's like, the name's Haas. Delgado or something. No, Delgado. I fucked it up.
You want to do another take?
Delgado.
But is he sniffing his own armpit when he does that?
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
And he's voiced by Drew Carey's the Drew
Curly
Carey show.
dark-haired guy.
Yeah, the curly dark hair guy. That guy's such a fucking good.
I just always think of him from Office Space. Hey, Peter, it's the breast exam on channel whatever.
Oh,
He's like,
yeah. Yeah, the perv.
He's like,
neighbor.
Can you just come over? Can you pretend like we can't hear each other through the walls or something? He's a pretty funny guy. I can't think of his name.
He was funny in the Drew Carey show. Just
he was.
Bonehead.
Him and Ryan Stiles.
Oh,
they were so fucking funny.
I wish they were in something like recent. That, something big recent.
I know.
They'd be funny.
They would be funny. I think their time is past.
That
I mean, maybe by choice, though. Maybe they're just kind of tired and made enough money. Who knows? So anyway, how did we get on that?
Tangent? I don't know.
I think there's just
Sorry, everyone.
I think there's just comedy themes or gimmicks that just they're always there, or they recur, they come back around again.
Yeah.
It's an oldie but a goodie. I'm sure the Greeks were doing it. Anyway, so I just think all the characters are really good. But okay, yeah, that's what I was saying. My parents were just, my mom's not a prude. My dad's a little bit of like, I don't want to say prude, but like he was very modest. And I think they were just, though, even my mom was like shocked at that scene and probably covering my eyes and like, maybe we shouldn't be watching this together. But yeah, and then all the swearing. But they just have so many good characters, and it's such a good story of like double crossing, and then she's trying to manipulate John Cleese's character because he's her boyfriend guy's barrister, attorney, whatever, in court. And she's basically screwing over her boyfriend George, but trying to not let on that she's screwing him over, and trying to find the loot because he's moved the diamonds from where they thought they were going to be. But so she's just kind of screwing everyone over and manipulating everyone. But then, spoiler, ends up actually becoming, falling in love with John Cleese, who is in this loveless, very proper marriage with a spoiled brat kid.
Which seems kind of weird wife. Because, like, she definitely didn't seem into him from the start.
Jamie Lee Curtis?
She was just kind of going through the rounds, and, like, he, clearly had some age on her.
That's true. I never think about that.
Maybe like what, like 10 or 20 years, something like that?
I don't know. It's hard to say because, it's hard to say with men sometimes because I think if they are losing their hair, they look older.
Yeah.
I think he worked out for that movie because I remember watching him in The Meaning of Life, and he does like this so awkward kind of sex scene because he's like teaching his class about sex or something. So he has his wife come into the classroom. It's such a weird movie. And they're like doing this sex. And I'm like, but I'm like, wow. Cause in A Fish Called Wanda, he's like fairly fit. He looks like he's kind of muscular. And I'm like, I wonder if he worked out because this was like his big Hollywood movie. And he like has to get naked at least once. I mean, you almost see peen. And, anyway, it's just so funny.
Almost see peen. Well, he's dancing around in his underwear. He wrote that too, right?
Yeah.
You said?
Yeah. So he chose
to do that?
Yeah. He didn't have to. Yeah. But I think Kevin Kline is the star. I mean,
he was just such a shithead the whole time.
But he was so fucking funny.
He was funny.
Right out the gate making fun of Ken's stutter.
And just fucking every situation up.
Yeah.
Any situation he touched, he fucked up.
He was like devious, too stupid to be actually intelligent, but he was devious.
Too stupid to be actually intelligent. That
Coming
is what
me.
Stupid means.
But do you ever like meet people who they're clearly not intelligent?
It's like this kettle's too hot to be actually cold.
Thank you. Thanks so much for your support and love.
Of course.
So I worked with a girl who was fucking dumb. Like dumber than a bag of hammers, but yet she was like kind of devious and manipulative, and I feel like I'm the opposite. Like I'd say I don't even know if I'd say I'm above average intelligence, but I guess it depends what average is. I said wouldn't necessarily say that. Let me finish. But I'm not like devious or sneaky. I can't.
Okay.
Like you could very easily catch me in a lie. It's why I never lie because I feel bad, but I'm just not. I can't connect the dots quickly enough. Do you know if you ever met someone who's like dumb but somehow devious? I feel like that was that character. If I hadn't met someone like that, I wouldn't believe it was a character. Because he like outsmarts Archie when they're at the airport. And he's like, somehow John Cleese gets the gun off of him. And then he's like, oh, you can't even fight me man to man. And John Cleese is like, all right, I did a little boxing in my time. And he sets the gun down on the floor. And then they do this little dance. And then Kevin Kline picks it up and goes, you stupid fuck, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm like...
Oh, and he's trashing on the English the entire
that's
time?
That's not that smart. Yeah, because they make him feel stupid because they're so... He's bumping into
but
mostly
they don't
like
even,
upper crusty...
They don't even do anything to make him feel stupid besides just being themselves. They aren't like insulting him or anything. He's just such a sensitive moron.
Yeah. Yeah. So
don't you call me stupid.
Don't call me stupid. Yeah, he has a real chip on his shoulder about being stupid. So it's just like a fun shenanigan type movie. There is some animal cruelty. Okay, I don't know why I laughed when I said that.
For 1988, though, I think that movie definitely held up. I really only realized it was 1988 when the movie ended and the horrible fucking music began.
Yeah. What would you even call that? Like, because the music, I feel like
some kind of sax heavy.
The dated music kind of bookended the movie because it was at the very beginning, but it was way worse at the very end.
It dated the movie for me.
Yeah.
Like I was able to be, you know.
You were into it. You were very into it. And then you just did this, like, I saw you kind of lose, like, your will to live, like, just get sucked out of you when that music came on.
It dated it so much.
It was pretty bad. It's
kind of strange because the rest of the movie I was able to enjoy and it didn't feel dated at all.
Yeah. I felt like you got into it because some of them...
Even though it's 33 years old.
Yeah. Damn. That's like your age. I mean, I know we just... That was such a dumb thing to say. That was such a dumb thing to say.
That's like, wait a second.
Like we spent the whole beginning of the thing talking about how you were 1 year old and then it was like I made a connection on my own.
Uh-huh.
It's just weird to have a movie be like your age, like a movie that you've maybe watched and loved. It's a sad thing. Didn't someone post something like that the other day where they're like, this movie is 30 years old and we're like, fuck.
Mm-hmm.
Ugh.
Anything really. Anything that's
reminds us of our mortality.
20 plus years old.
Yeah. So I'm always thrilled when you enjoy a movie that is fairly old that I have kind of like grown up with a little bit because I'm like almost 8 years older than Brand. I wasn't going to say it earlier, but I'm sure I've said it before. So there's definitely things that like Top Gun and stuff like that.
Yeah, but also I'm not a movie watcher.
Yeah.
So, you know.
Yeah.
I mean, people my own age will be like, have you seen this? What?
True.
You haven't?
But usually you're aware of it. It's on your radar even if you haven't actually watched it.
I knew about Top Gun.
But what about Fish Called Wanda?
I knew about Fish Called Wanda,
okay.
but I'd never seen it.
Yeah.
It's just, but you know, I just don't have a backlog. Is that a word? Of movies I've seen. I don't have a long list of movies I've seen.
Okay.
Except like the big ones, you know, the Harry Potters.
Yeah.
The Lord of the Ringses, the Spider-Manses.
What did you expect going into this movie? Did you think it was going to be like about an aquarium keeper or something?
I think you told me out the gate that it was about a heist or something.
Okay.
So
I wanted to lay a little bit of foundation for you.
And just, you know, seeing Jamie Lee Curtis and Kevin Kline and
all the other people.
The fuck?
Michael Palin?
All of them.
Michael Palin, who I'm sure a lot
Cleese.
of... John Cleese, yeah, sorry. I forgot about him, like the main
just seeing all of them really was like, I just knew it was going to be a good movie after that. Yeah. You know how you can you see certain actors and you just know that it's going to be good.
Yeah. Well, and that was like, even though it was kind of after, I think, Monty Python, they were still, I think, at their peak. And John Cleese definitely, because he was really big. I think Fawlty Towers was quite a few years before that, but I think he was still kind of riding that wave and breaking into like America. And
he had a lot of success.
Yeah. Kevin Kline, I love his character. I love him. I thought he was great. I haven't seen him in like a whole lot of stuff. I loved him in French Kiss, even though I'm sure people will shit on his French accent, but his character was he's very charismatic and I think funny. of course, my favorite character of his is Bob's Burgers, Mr. Fish Odor.
Mr.
And
Fish Odor.
I don't know why I didn't put together that his name is Calvin. Well, not that it is like actual connection, Calvin Fish Odor, because I always, when I was younger, wanted to call him Calvin Kline. But his name is Kevin Kline, but he's Calvin Fish Odor. I have no idea if there's a connection there. And I was just looking it up because I was like, why did he end up being there? But I guess I just read this really quick.
Being where?
Being fish odor on Bob's Burgers. Yep, going with that. So his manager was friends with the Bob's Burgers casting director. So they just like thought, fuck it, like we'll ask if he wants to do this character, and he read the script, and he thought it was funny, and he's just been on it ever since. I mean,
he's a great character on that show.
He has been through whatever season that I just finally got around to finishing. He's still doing it.
He's just a wild card. I really like that
funny.
episode where his brother comes into town, who's I think played by Patton Oswalt.
No, Zach Galifianakis. I think.
Zach Galifianakis. Oh, okay. But
another short little chubby man.
They get tied up, and he's like, "Grab my phone." And he's like, "But it's all footy now," because
when they're tied up under the pier.
His foot. Yeah.
Oh.
It's so good. His lines are so good in that show.
He's just so insulting to Bob, and
he's a wild card.
Yeah.
Just an eccentric weirdo.
Mm-hmm. I love him. And it's just like it's a great, obviously, it's great for voice actors. But he has just such a great voice. And even when I was watching this again, Fish Called Wanda, I was like, I forgot how great his voice is.
Mm-hmm.
He's so fucking funny. I mean, it's everything behind it, but
it has an interesting pitch that you don't usually hear.
That you wouldn't think like
you could pick him out of a crowd probably pretty easily because of his voice. It's very
I guess it's kind of low. I was thinking.
Is it?
I was thinking it was higher than what I would think for a man, but I think it's kind of low. But he ends up yelling a lot in that movie, so maybe it goes higher.
Yeah, I don't know. And side note, Bob's Burgers, we watched one of the pilots or something.
I didn't watch it. I still haven't watched it.
Oh.
I need to, though.
I watched one of the pilots because
I think we talked about this like an episode or two ago.
Oh, really?
That's okay. Just say it again.
They started out as cannibals.
Oh, I'm sorry. I feel like I took your steam.
Actual cannibals, though. Not like the episode where it was a lie.
They're accused, yeah.
Yeah. But I'm
glad they didn't go with that, because I feel like you'd have trouble sympathizing.
And also, just the length of the show would be... So they're just cannibals the entire show?
Yeah.
They're just, that...
They can't sustain that for 13 or whatever seasons.
I mean, they could, but it would put such a dark twist on the entire show. I mean, are there kids involved?
They could only get away with it if it was like Dexter and they just ate like serial killers or something.
I mean, there as in THEIR, not are there kids involved.
Oh, right. Okay.
Like, are they eating children? No, I meant like, are there kids killing people and eating people?
People? I don't know. I don't know because it's all in your head.
It'd be interesting to know what, if they had a couple episodes written and like what were their ideas with that direction.
Yeah, that's true. Weird.
Anyway, no info on it.
I'm glad they didn't go.
Just wondering.
Anyway, so I'm sure there's points we haven't hit about the movie, but don't want to just didn't want to do like a complete recap or whatever.
Yeah, no, don't want to do a recap.
But I'd say
it's not really interesting. You can just watch the movie.
Yeah, I think it's cool that you think it held up. I'm always very happy when you say that.
Yeah.
Because it's like a thing like, oh, like it almost feels like a judgment on someone my age, or like I somehow was involved in the creation of this movie that I was not.
You're not that much older than me.
I know, but there's certain things that kind of mark us out, or maybe just like our backgrounds and like what our families were into. Like somehow if you thought it was stupid.
Well, also, I didn't really have like cable, or my family didn't have cable until I was like 17 or 18.
I didn't.
So
go ahead.
Yeah, but I feel like you knew about stuff. You knew about those shows when you were...
I kind of came to them late, but movies like we would rent and like watch over and over again because we didn't have cable. Mm-hmm. We had like 4 channels or whatever.
Go to the Blockbuster, rent a movie.
Yeah.
And we didn't have a video game system until we had an Atari and then skipped many game systems until I think we eventually were given like a PlayStation 2. So
we
I
had
missed
a
out.
Nintendo 64, and that was it for many, many years.
I was playing outside a lot.
Good for you. I was too.
Because I didn't really have a choice. It
I was
was either
throwing
that
rocks
or
at cars.
hang inside and draw, which was another thing I did.
Yeah.
You
Sounds
threw
like
rocks at cars?
Actually, I think we threw grapes at cars because we had a vineyard.
Oh, do you want to tell that story?
Which story? Where the time I threw grapes at cars? The end. Huh?
When you mooned someone?
You remember that?
Of course I do.
Didn't we tell this story already?
Yeah, it disturbed me.
Really? Why?
Because what are you doing?
Are you worried about pedophiles? Is that why?
That, and also, what was the thought process?
It wasn't there.
So just tell the story.
I think we've probably talked about this. I think we need to keep a catalog of the stories that we've told.
It's like maybe you saw someone do it in a movie.
My friend, I think the two of us, when we got together, it was not good. And I think we were...
Because she was like, hey, let's go do this idiotic thing. And you were like, okay.
Yeah. So, no, I just did this weird squeaky thing.
Do you like how I made you sound like a yokel?
Like fucking Forrest Gump. Yeah. Kind of. But I think we just were that...
Sorry.
You okay? I think we were just that weird combination of like when we got together, we got into shit, and I was not like
all fucking hell broke loose.
I was not like a troublemaking child. I was not like a risk taker. I don't think I ever mooned anyone before or since, but with her. And
I don't know that I've ever mooned anyone. Maybe I have. I don't know.
You'd remember.
I feel like the opportunity never really presented itself.
Well, it was just such a stupid thing too, because I think I have talked about this, but
so
we
what
were
was
like
the dumbest part about it?
That we were in a parked car, parked on my parents' property in the front yard, sticking our butts up against the window. It was just so fucking stupid.
That's the part. In a parked car, so if somebody wanted to be like, hey, what the fuck are you doing?
I don't know why we didn't do it in the vineyard and then run back into the vineyard where the vines would like hide you, because that's how we would throw the grapes, because no one could see the grapes coming or see who was throwing them.
Yeah.
That was the smart one.
So it's not like, they're not going to really do anything.
But this is the girl.
Stop it.
This is the girl who we would climb our fig tree and like I squeezed like fig milk into her eye and practically glued her eye. You know, I might have done her serious ocular damage.
Is it fig milk or fig like sap?
I don't know. It's white and it's sticky. I think she's lucky because
it's probably some kind of like starchy sap or something.
I mean, she went home and I was like, shit.
I'm gonna be in my trouble. Friend.
Just something about her and me. It was not good.
Chaos.
Yeah. Or just bad choices. Just regrettable choices.
That's
anyway.
Okay. It's not that bad.
Do you have a friend like that?
I don't think so. I think my friends I just play video games with.
Danny? I feel like if you got into like troublesome situations, you were kind of pulled along into them. Not like goading, like egging someone on.
I was very dumb when I was younger. So I was, okay. I was that guy.
But were you ever the instigator or like feeding that fire?
Hey, let's light this thing on fire. Okay. Hey,
really?
let's go, sliding down this hill. Okay. I was that guy.
Really?
The guy who didn't think for himself.
Yep. Any regrets? Did you ever break any limbs from that or lose any teeth?
No, but I went down a few hills on some longboards.
Like skateboards?
Yeah, thinking it was, okay to do.
Yeah.
But after seeing a lot of fail videos with you, realizing how mangled I could have been.
How close you came to death.
Mm-hmm.
Crazy.
Also, actually, a friend broke a collarbone doing that. And another friend woke up in the hospital doing that.
Wow.
Don't ride a fucking longboard. Just don't do it.
Ever?
Just don't.
Okay.
I mean, if a rock can just destroy you, a pebble, just don't. I mean, they're the stupidest things.
Well, I know that just from riding on my skateboard on my knees as a kid. Like, that's like the safest way.
Yeah, the little, and then you're just down.
I just flew off the front of it and like broke my fall with my face.
Yeah.
Just
is
don't
that how
do
you
it.
got this scar?
Mm-hmm. The chin scar that everyone has. Everyone has their story. Indiana Jones whipped himself.
Is that true?
They established that in the.
Obviously in the lore,
yeah.
not in real life.
Yeah,
well, he's not a real person, so
shut up.
I guess it would have to be in the lore.
Yeah, in the Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, River Phoenix, oh my gosh, plays him as young Indy, and he's like ends up on this train being chased by bad guys because he stole like some artifact, and he lands in the car where there's a lion, and he picks the only weapon he can find is there's a whip off, and that's how he ends up with the whip. That's how they establish. And he goes to whip it, and it like he doesn't know how to use it, and it like whips back and gets him on the chin, and he's like, oh, and that's it.
That's weird.
Yeah, it's not. Don't look at it too closely. Let's not pull it apart. Don't look at it too closely. But I think it was like the first kind of not prequel, obviously, but like establishing backstory that I had seen that was like, oh, I've been watching this guy all this time. That's how it happened. No, you dummy.
Mean he wasn't a circus trainer?
Yeah.
Circus trainer? A lion trainer? You don't train circuses.
A lion tamer?
I got both words wrong? Shit.
It's all right.
Okay.
I can edit it. You want to do it again? So the next movie we have to watch that I keep saying has really held up is The Fugitive. But it's not...
The Fugitive.
You're not really into dramas and you get really tense.
Who's in it?
Harrison Ford, speaking of.
I like Harrison Ford.
Yeah. You might be a little stressed in this one because it's a little stressful, but it's so good.
And he's a fugitive?
Oh, yeah. I think
the run?
They did a parody of it.
Isn't that what... Is that redundant?
Yeah.
A fugitive on the run?
Yeah.
Okay.
Stop it. Stop it, Captain Knuckles. I think they parodied it in recently in Community. I keep wanting to call it Colegio or College Town. Community. We've been binge watching Community. I think they parodied it because he's like, I didn't kill my wife. And he's like, I don't care. That's from The Fugitive.
Oh, yeah.
So
Come back, you fugitive.
Yeah, you need to see it so you can get all the references. That's why we need to make you watch these old movies. No, but I mean, you would have got it.
They do a lot of references.
They do. And then I wouldn't have to turn to you and go, that's from The Fugitive. And he had the blue sweater and everything that Richard Kimball is wearing.
You know, when I was younger and would watch The Family Guy, you're
the only person. I know you say it like
other
as
than
a
like
joke,
old
but...
people. No, I actually just said it naturally. I didn't mean.
Weird.
When I watch Family Guy, that just feels weird. Am I old now?
Only to you.
What the fuck?
I don't know anyone else who says Family Guy.
When I used to watch Family Guy,
he's furrowing his brow every time he says it like that.
It feels so weird. I wouldn't get a lot of the references. The end.
Well, we'll have to remedy that and then go through and watch all the Family Guy episodes again so you can get them.
I get them now, and when I watched them as a young adult, I understood them.
Everyone
most
misses
of them.
some.
But still, when they reference things from like the 60s or 50s, I mean, who is this show for? Kind of. That's kind of how I would feel.
It's
like,
fun for all ages.
Yeah, but old people don't watch it. Old people are disturbed by it.
Not all, maybe.
I remember my dad would be like, you watching this stupid cartoon again? And then he'd laugh at
my mom's older than your dad, and she fucking loved it. My
dad loved it too, but he would be like, this is the stupidest thing.
She didn't even try to pretend that she didn't like it. She fucking loved it. Because she loves Stewie. And everyone loves Brian, even though, as you point out, he's a piece of shit. But anyway.
I hate Brian. He's like the most annoying character. You just love him because he's a dog.
It's true.
Any of the characters could be a dog and you'd be like, I love that character. Peter could be a dog. You'd be like,
but I didn't like
Peter.
the dog who like took over for him for a minute. I didn't like that dog, but...
Was that dog voiced by the guy from Workaholics?
I have no idea. I thought he was like an older guy. He sounded like an older guy.
Well, I don't remember.
Anyway, we've done a lot of
roundabouting all over the place.
Yeah. Fish Called Wanda, 2 thumbs way up. No, we can't do that.
2 thumbs up.
Do we want to do that? Or we want to make our own thing? We had a thing for a minute.
Is this going to be... Okay.
No, I don't know. I don't fucking know. I don't remember. Did you like it? Would you recommend it?
I'd recommend it. I thought it was good.
Yeah, I'm glad you did. It was fun.
Of course it's good. Written by John Cleese. John Cleese is in it.
That's true.
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Kevin Kline.
Palin. Palin.
Sorry, did you want me to? And
No.
he's done travel programs. If you don't know that about him,
Palin.
he has done he does really good travel programs. Like, it's been a minute. He's pretty old now, I think, but they're really good, and
They're both pretty
works
old
in
right
some
now.
of his humor. And
They're both pretty old.
you look like
now.
you were confused by your own. Yeah. Anyway, good fun movie. Just fast forward through the beginning credits and the end credits so you can skip the dated music.
Oh yeah, and also, so you can skip the credits, because I feel like nowadays, or at least in the 90s or 2000s, they started putting credits at the end, so you could leave in case you didn't want to watch them. But back in the 80s and earlier, they would stop it. Hold on, I'm trying to think.
I didn't say a word.
Yeah, but you did this head tilt like, out with it, Stinky.
You know they do the credits at the beginning and the end of every movie, right?
Yes, but I feel like 80s and earlier movies would drag their feet really hard on the credits in the beginning. I mean, they would.
Yeah.
They were so fucking unbearably slow.
Remember when we watched
open.
The Ref at your parents' house? I don't know why, but your mom seemingly randomly pulled out The Ref, right? With Dennis Leary and Kevin Spacey and I forget who his wife was. And the credits, I think it was that movie. The credits kept fucking going like halfway through the movie.
For a fucking eternity.
Okay, that's an exaggeration, but like 10 minutes into the fucking movie. I'm like, this is such... I think we were probably talking about it the whole time.
And it's fine if a movie's like, okay, it's rolling now, and they're still showing names, and they're kind of like getting into the story of things. But no, the 80s and earlier were just like, yeah, there's going to be like slow pans of the scenery and music playing, and nothing's going to happen because we want you to look at these names.
We put a lot of effort into this film,
Which
and
I
you
get
will
it.
see us.
But like, for fuck's sake,
Yeah.
like get to it. You know?
Yeah, I agree. I concur. All right, take a breath.
And you're going to see these people. You're going to see them in a second.
Not the executive producer.
Yeah, but...
You fool.
That's true.
You fucking fool. It just so happened that the writer was also like one of the stars at this time.
I know, but a lot of time they'll list the lead actors.
They usually list the actors.
All right, let's not get into
up
this.
Front.
We agreed on it taking forever.
That's the important point. You're right. I'm sorry.
That's fine.
Anyway, watch it, like it, and then like us and
Or
subscribe.
if you don't like it, that's fine too.
Yeah, sure. But the important part is come back to us and you like us and you subscribe and hit the bell and comment and all that good stuff. Tell us what you think. Tell us of a movie that is old. Shut up. That is old, but you think holds up that maybe we should watch.
Or it doesn't have to be old. It could be like a smaller title or something.
But I just like something that like you show people and you're like, yeah, when they actually like it, because even though it's old, it's not like cringy, except for maybe the music. Like that.
Yeah, pretty bad music. Basically, you throw sax in there, fucking ruins it. Sax is only ironically cool.
I wouldn't even say cool. It's only fun, ironically, when used ironically.
Yeah.
Sorry, sax players.
I used to want to play sax because I thought it was cool.
Thank God that
because
you stuck with it.
I had been influenced
ukulele.
by the 80s. Ukulele's cool.
I actually really like it when you play the ukulele.
You punk ass.
I like it. All right. Thanks, guys.
Bye-bye.
Bye.